Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Jome Electronic. Back here again. Today we're gonna be taking a look at the all-new Ayaneo 2S. Got a brand new handheld, here powered by a Ryzen 77840U. So we've got RDNA 3 graphics and Zen 4 CPU cores, so we can definitely expect a nice little bump in performance when you compare it to the older 6800U version of the Ayaneo 2. And this is up on. They are offering a few different variants when it comes to RAM and storage configurations, plus a couple of different colors, and they've also introduced the Ayaneo Geek 1S, which is going to be the upgraded version of the older Geek using the same Zen 4 output that we have here in the 2S. When it comes to the overall design and layout, we're actually looking at the same kind of layout as the Ayaneo 2. Basically, what's changed here are the internals. We've got a new cooling system and obviously that new Phoenix Point APU. Inside of the box, we're going to get our USB cable. We also have some wall adapters for around the world, a 65-watt PD quick charger and some USB Type-C to full-size USB adapters, because on this unit we've got 3 USB Type-C ports, no full-size directly on the handheld itself. Ever since the Ayaneo 2 released with this same design, I've been a huge fan of it. Super comfortable to hold. We've got a very premium feel here. Bezel-less display. This is a 7-inch 1200p display. On the Geek, they're offering an 800p option, but we've got the 1200p here and it looks really great. I'm pretty sure this is the same screen they used in the 2. It is IPS, but the colors pop on this so good. And it's got a brightness up to 500 nits. This is definitely one of my favorite screens that we've seen in the handheld so far. Button layout remains the same. Over here on this side, we've got our ABXY and our dedicated Ayaneo button. Plus, this utilizes Hall sensors for both of the joysticks. These are the full-size Hall sensor-based joysticks, so if you're into the larger ones, this is definitely for you. Always had a really great feel to these analog sticks. But one of my favorite things is this D-pad. It's my favorite one on the market right now out of any controller or handheld. And really, I look at this D-pad for fighting games more than I personally do for platformers, but it's super accurate. And the main thing here is the roll. Like I mentioned, fighting games are absolutely amazing with this D-pad. And around back we've got these Hall-based linear triggers. Some people call them analog triggers and they're Hall-based. So they're super accurate. You don't have to worry about them wearing out. And if you're into racing games, then you definitely want these linear triggers moving around to the bottom. We've got our dual stereo speakers, a 3.5mm audio jack, USB Type-C, which is USB 4 on bottom here, plus a micro SD card slot. And taking a look at the top here, fingerprint sensor, power button, volume rocker, and 2 more USB Type-C. One of these is 3.2, the other is another USB 4 port, so we can actually connect an eGPU to this and turn it into a full-fledged gaming PC if we needed to. But I'd say with all of the handhelds on the market right now, the main claim to fame is this new APU. We've got the AMD Ryzen 7840U based on Zen 4, we've got 8 cores, 16 threads, a base clock of 3, and a boost up to 5.1 built-in AMD Radeon 780 graphics. These are based on RDNA 3. We've got 12 cores and it runs up to 2700 MHz. When it comes to RAM, you can opt to either get 16 or 32 GB, but all of them are using LPDDR5X running at 7500 megatransfers per second. And of course, as we know when it comes to these integrated graphics, it's going to utilize system RAM as our VRAM. The faster we can get that, theoretically, the better performance we can get out of the GPU. So seeing this really fast RAM is awesome. 1M2 NVMe SSD. It's a 2280mm drive and you can replace it if you want to. We've got Wi-Fi, 6 Bluetooth 5.2, a 25 watt-hour battery, and this is running Windows 11 out of the box, but they are working on IAOS, which is based on Linux. If you've ever used an IA device in the past, you might be familiar with this space. This is no different. It's been updated to support the 2S. We've got our dedicated IA button, and from here we've got a lot of great stuff that we can change. Brightness, volume, fan, speed. We can disable or enable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and we've got our power profiles. This is going to allow us to tweak and tune the TDP depending on the game you're running, and we can bring this up at any time. If you're in a game, you can press that I button. It'll bring it right up. Our presets are game coming in at 22 watts. We've got balanced at 15, power saver at 11. This would be great for indie games, but we also have a pro mode. So with this we can adjust all three-way from 5 watts up to 33. I've been testing at about 22 watts, you know, the game mode, but I've also done some gaming at 30 watts and it really does open up this APU. So if we tap it once, we'll bring fetch up, but holding it for about 3 seconds is going to bring us directly into a space. We've got our game launcher, and this will automatically scan all over regular directories for Steam games. EA, you want to do some Blizzard stuff, it'll populate and automatically download box art for us. We can also fully adjust the built-in controls. Haptics vibration motors, we can set the dead zones and sensitivity of basically all of the controls on the Ayaneo 2S, so if you want to go through and customize your button layout or turn the vibration down or up, you can do it from here. There's also custom keys you can set up if you need to. RGB control is also included in iSpace and it's always being updated with new things. We've got the auto TDP that we can also download here. There's a few mini apps, and overall I think you've done a really great job with iSpace. But you know, when it comes down to it, one of the main things that I wanted to show off was the performance of this new Ryzen 77840U APU. I will have a full review coming up. I did want to spend a few days with this, so we'll kind of go over everything that's included with iSpace, but now I want to show off some gaming because this is a really powerful little APU. Those RDNA 3 graphics are absolutely amazing, and when you have it set up correctly, you can definitely play your favorite AA games on the go. Like one of my favorites, Forza Horizon 5, we're at 1080p, high setting, no resolution, scale, and we're at 22 watts. So we're in game mode right now and we're getting well over 60 FPS. In fact, I got an average of 75 FPS at 22 watts, and if you wanted to throw some more at it, we can group to 33 from the Pro mode in iSpace, and you can definitely get more out of it, but I'd say trying to get the best battery life, turn VSync on, lock it down at 60. It's not going to quite use 22 watts at 60 FPS right now. We need to kind of overrun that, send a little more power to get over 60. But yeah, I mean, this is some amazing performance. The next thing I wanted to show off were a few benchmarks that I ran on the 2S, and this is at 30 watts. First up, we've got Geekbench 6, single core 2406, multi 10,588 ridiculous scores. Here for a mobile APU like this. Moving over to some GPU benchmarks with Readmark, we've got Night Raid 28,992, Firestrike 7713, and the final one we have here is Time Spy coming in with a really great 3295 now. This is at 30 watts. Of course, at 15 you're going to get less, but I really wanted to see what this thing could do. And even with these synthetics, it's looking awesome. These integrated graphics have definitely come a long way in the last few years, and I mean, there's just more to come. But these are synthetic. Now it's time to test out some more real-world gaming. Here's Mortal Kombat 11, 1200p high settings, and it'd have to take it up from 15 watts. I was hoping that we could do it here. I just went up to 18 with a little bit of a custom config from iSpace, and at 18, we can run this game at 60 FPS. I always like to throw at least one fighting game in to show it off, but I did go through and test Injustice 2, kind of the same thing here. High settings, 18 watts, but something like Street Fighter, 515 watts maxed out. Not a problem. At 1200p, Cyberpunk 2077, 800p low settings, I get an average of 81 FPS. This is looking higher than the other RDNA 3 APUs that I've tested. At this wattage, even some of them at 25 watts can't do that 81 on average. So this is looking great, and I'm going to chalk it up to that faster RAM. It just still amazes me that we can play Cyberpunk 2077 over 60 FPS on a handheld gaming device. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, just using the built-in benchmark, we are in recommended mode, so it will either add FSR or scale that resolution back for us, but with it set up like this, we got an average of 97 FPS and a low of 60, we're at 22 watts. So a few more watts, I'd say 24, we could definitely bring it up with that low. So you never drop under 60 with this game. If you like this video, please share and subscribe.